Maybe we'll get some highlights right here too. We got two wonderful guests, and we already talked about how they were going to introduce themselves. So here we go. There's the highlight right there, Steve. So I'm going to do a short opening, and then I'd ask for the both of you to introduce yourselves. And I know how this goes. We're going to say, go ahead and introduce yourselves, and there's going to be silence. And then one of you is going to say, well, I'm going to defer to the other one. And then the other one's going to go, oh, no, I'm going to wait for you. So whoever wants to go, you go right ahead. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, Ulysses Butch Slaughter here with Steve Fischer for another segment of Building Community, the Chester Housing Authority's online platform for staying in connection with our residents, our stakeholders, and the broader community. Steve, which episode is this?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that this time. I forgot to keep track the last few, but I'm going to guess 37 or 38. I think it's something up there in the high 30s.
We've been doing this for almost 3 years now. We started this thing right around the time of the pandemic, and we have been quite consistent here. And I don't want to slow this down because we got just to finish that point. So April will be the 3-year anniversary, and we've been talking about putting out a highlight reel. So let's not forget about that. We won't. Maybe we'll get some highlights right here too. We got two wonderful guests, and we already talked about how they were going to introduce themselves. So here we go. There's the highlight right there, Steve.
So I'll go. I was thinking, like, how are we going to do this? Okay, I'll go since I see myself at the top of the screen. How's that, Dr. Johnson? My name is Dr. Ebonnie Vazquez. I am an assistant professor of social work at Westchester University. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, as well as the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, National Coalition of Negro Women, you name it, I'm in it, right? But I really am an advocate for my community. I'm an advocate for communities of color. I'm an advocate for supporting and enriching those communities. And I'm so happy to be here with you all today.
I'll try to follow that. So nice to be here. My name is Nina Johnson, and I'm an associate professor of sociology and Black studies at Swarthmore College. I'm a lover of Philadelphia and all of its surrounding areas, particularly Chester. I am a sociologist who does work and research on and in Black communities. And I do so because I do deeply have love for Black folks and my folks, and I am dedicated to liberation. I'm a member of the Greater Freedom think tank that was born out of Graterford Prison, a network of formerly, currently, and non-incarcerated folks who work on issues of mass incarceration in the state of Pennsylvania, Chester, Philadelphia, and also just broader issues of inequality. And I'm committed to seeing the world and leaving it better than I found it. So I'm very happy to be here.
I want to go here first. Why Women's History Month?
I think that the importance of Women's History Month is that it is an opportunity for us to focus and prioritize women. Ideally, historically, women have found themselves prioritizing everyone else, right? We are prioritizing our spouses. We are prioritizing our children. And oftentimes the needs of women are overlooked and often unheard. And so I think that designating a month to women affords other individuals to be able to prioritize women, to look at women's health issues, look at health disparities for women, look at issues around heart health as they relate for women. As we know that heart disease is the number one killer of women, right? It gives us an opportunity to talk about social issues like abortion rights and being able to have authority over one's body. It gives us the ability to focus on that. It gives us the ability to focus on issues around hair and beauty standards. So it gives us an opportunity to focus on a demographic that is so often focusing on others. And so I think that that is a key reason, right, for having Women's History Month. It also gives us an opportunity to highlight things that women are doing, how we are contributing to the greater good, what we're doing in terms of operating outside of some of those more stereotypical roles, how we find ourselves contributing and doing things that many may not necessarily equate with women. So I think it affords everyone an opportunity to prioritize the demographic that is so often prioritizing others.
Why Women's History Month? I think, just as a teacher, I think when I look at my own education, both K to 12 and in higher education, often when we talk about the history of this country or how we got to be where we are, whether it's in cities or, any slice of history, often left out are how women have contributed to both this country, how women have led in science, in math, in the fields of medicine and, in sociology, my field, in history, how they've led politically, in social movements. We have, sort of all of these men out front leading us, but without really seeing the incredible work and intellectual work of women in this country and how this country has been shaped by women. So I think it's first and foremost an important way for us to understand how we got to be, who has contributed to this country and how. So I think that's a key reason for me, because there's really no other time where we get to see the contributions of women. I mean, in this year, we're still seeing women as firsts, right? We're in a presidential administration where we have a first woman as a vice president. We still haven't had a woman as a president of this country. And so I think it's important for us to understand the country we live in and who's been allowed access to leadership and who hasn't. So I think it's a great time for us to really take stock of where we are. I also think it's an important time, particularly on the heels of Black History Month. We often don't see Black women as leaders. We don't see Black women as having political agency. And so I think it's an important time, really just off the heels of Black History Month, to talk about Black women and our contributions. But even more than that, I think, agreeing again with Dr. Vazquez, that it's a great time for us to look at where we are versus where we want to and need to be to live into the values we say we have as a country. If we're supposed to be a free country, if we're supposed to be the land of opportunity, how do we continue to deny people access to basic resources like clean water, clean air, housing, healthcare, basic things we need to live, not just to thrive, but just to survive. And so it's a great time for us to look at the gender wage gap. It's a great time for us to look at the denial of women access to reproductive healthcare in all different kinds of ways, in light of the reversal of Brown v. Board, Roe v. Wade. So I think it's all of those things and a great time for us to consider where we are and where we should be and where we want to be, because we have a population that we are denying access to the things they need to survive. And that's going to really continue to keep us as a country behind where we should be.